Hello my loves and welcome to the channel. Now put on your best comfy trousers, grab a cuppa or a glass of something bubbly if it's that time of day where you are, and settle in because today we're whisking you away to the land of the long white cloud, New Zealand. Get ready to fall head over heels for the most stunning scenery you've ever clapped your eyes on. We're talking snow-capped mountains, glaciers that'll take your breath away, beaches that stretch on for days, and forests straight out of a fairy tale, and that's before we even get to the cities. From Auckland's bustling harbour to the creative heart of Wellington, we're going on a whirlwind tour of the top 10 cities you absolutely cannot miss. So buckle up and let's dive right in. First up, we're off to Auckland, the city of sails. Now, Auckland's a bit of a show-off, darling. Perched on a sparkling harbour dotted with islands, it's a city that knows how to make an entrance. You'll want to spend your days exploring those very harbours, maybe even hopping on a ferry to Waheka Island for a cheeky Sauvignon Blanc or two. And did I mention the views? Oh, the views. Head up the iconic Sky Tower for a panorama that'll knock your socks off. But Auckland's not just a pretty face, you know, it's got history too. Pop over to the Auckland War Memorial Museum to learn about the Maori people, the island's indigenous population, and their fascinating culture. And if you're after a bit of retail therapy, Queen Street is the place to be. Just be prepared to spend your hard-earned dollars, darling, because those shops are irresistible. Oh, and before I forget, Auckland is a melting pot of cultures, so be sure to tantalize your taste buds with the incredible food scene. Trust me, your stomach will thank you for it. Next, we're off to Wellington, the windy capital that's stolen the hearts of many. Now, Wellington's a bit like that friend who's always got a good story to tell and a twinkle in their eye. It's a city that's bursting with creativity, from the street art that adorns every corner to the buzzing theatre scene. And if you're a film buff, darling, you'll be in heaven. Weta Workshop, the geniuses behind the special effects in Lord of the Rings and Avatar, call Wellington home. But let's be honest, you can't talk about Wellington without mentioning the coffee. It's practically a religion here. So grab yourself a flat white from one of the many independent cafes and watch the world go by. And if you're feeling energetic, take a stroll up Mount Victoria for breathtaking views over the city. Just be prepared to hold on to your hat, darling, because Wellington's wind has a mind of its own. Oh, and don't forget to hop on the Wellington cable car for a charming ride up to the Wellington Botanic Garden. It's the perfect spot for a romantic picnic or a leisurely afternoon stroll. Now, Christchurch is a city that's shown incredible resilience. After being rocked by earthquakes, it's come back stronger and more vibrant than ever. Take a wander through the city centre and you'll be amazed by the innovative architecture and the sense of community spirit. Be sure to check out the Cardboard Cathedral, a temporary cathedral built entirely of cardboard tubes. Talk about resourceful. And if you're a fan of street art, you're in for a treat. Christchurch is practically an open-air art gallery with colourful murals adorning buildings throughout the city. For a bit of peace and quiet, hop on a punt and glide down the Avon River. It's the perfect way to relax and soak up the city's charm. And if you're feeling adventurous, take a day trip to Akaroa, a charming French-influenced town on the Banks Peninsula. You can even go swimming with dolphins there. Next up, we're off to Queenstown, the adventure capital of the world. Now, if you're an adrenaline junkie, darling, you've come to the right place. Queenstown is famous for its bungee jumping, skydiving, and whitewater rafting. But if you'd rather keep your feet firmly on the ground, don't worry, there's plenty to keep you entertained. Take a ride on the Skyline gondola for breathtaking views over Lake Wakatipu and the Remarkables mountain range. It's a view you won't forget in a hurry. And if you're feeling peckish, head to Fergburger for the best burger you'll ever taste. Just be prepared to queue, darling, because everyone knows it's the place to go. Oh, and if you're visiting in winter, Queenstown is a skier's paradise. Hit the slopes at Coronet Peak or the Remarkables for an unforgettable skiing experience. Now, Dunedin's a bit of a hidden gem, tucked away on the South Island's east coast. It's a city steeped in history with grand Victorian architecture and a distinctly Scottish feel. Take a stroll down Baldwin Street, officially the world's steepest street if you dare. And if you're a fan of wildlife, darling, you're in for a treat. Head to the Otago Peninsula where you can see albatrosses soaring overhead, sea lions basking in the sun, and the world's rarest penguin, the yellow-eyed penguin, waddling ashore. And for a truly unique experience, visit Larnac Castle, New Zealand's only castle. It's a fascinating glimpse into the life of William Larnac, a 19th century politician and businessman. Oh, and before I forget, Dunedin is home to Spite's Brewery, one of New Zealand's oldest breweries. So be sure to pop in for a tour and a taste of their famous brews. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're off to Rotorua, a geothermal wonderland that'll have you saying ooh and ah at every turn. Get ready to be blown away by geysers shooting sky high, bubbling mud pools that'll make you giggle, and colourful hot springs that look like they belong on another planet. And speaking of otherworldly, Rotorua is steeped in Maori culture. Visit Te Puia to experience a traditional Maori cultural performance and learn about their fascinating history and traditions. Now, I have to warn you, darling, Rotorua does have a rather unique aroma. Let's just say it's the smell of nature doing its thing, but trust me, it's worth it for the incredible geothermal wonders you'll witness. Oh, and if you're feeling brave, try a traditional hangi, a Maori feast cooked underground using hot stones. It's a truly unique culinary experience. Chapter 7. Hamilton, where gardens bloom and tummies rumble. Now, Hamilton might not be the first city that springs to mind when you think of New Zealand, but trust me, darling, it's a real charmer. Nestled on the banks of the Waikato River, Hamilton is a city that's bursting with life. It's known for its beautiful gardens, including the stunning Hamilton Gardens, which will transport you to different parts of the world with their themed gardens. And if you're a foodie, darling, you're in for a treat. Hamilton has a thriving culinary scene with everything from award-winning restaurants to quirky cafes. Be sure to try the local specialty, the Hokey Pokey ice cream. For a bit of history, visit Hamilton Old Town and explore the antique shops and art galleries, and if you're feeling adventurous, take a jet boat ride through the Waikato River Gorge. Oh, and before I forget, Hamilton is home to the Waikato Museum, where you can learn about the region's history, art and culture. Next up, we're heading to Tauranga, a coastal city that's bathed in sunshine. Now, if you're after a relaxing beach holiday, darling, this is the place to be. Tauranga is home to Mount Maunganui, an extinct volcano that offers stunning views over the city and the Bay of Plenty. Take a hike to the summit for a workout with a view, or simply relax on the golden sands of Mount Maunganui Beach. And if you're a bit of a shopaholic, darling, you'll be in heaven. Tauranga has a fantastic range of shops, from designer boutiques to quirky independent stores. For a taste of local history, visit the Elms Mission Station, one of New Zealand's oldest European settlements. And if you're feeling adventurous, take a boat trip to one of the many islands dotted around the Bay of Plenty. Oh, and before I forget, Tauranga is a haven for foodies with a thriving cafe culture and award-winning restaurants. Be sure to try the fresh seafood, darling, it's divine. Now, Napier is a city that's like stepping back in time. After being devastated by an earthquake in 1931, Napier was rebuilt in the Art Deco style that was all the rage at the time. Today it's considered one of the best preserved Art Deco cities in the world. Take a stroll down Emerson Street and admire the colourful buildings, or hop on a vintage car tour for a truly glamorous experience. And if you're a wine lover, darling, you're in luck. Napier is surrounded by Hawke's Bay, one of New Zealand's premier wine regions. Take a wine tour and sample some of the local vintages. You won't be disappointed. For a bit of fresh air, head to Marine Parade, a beautiful waterfront promenade with stunning views of the Pacific Ocean. And if you're feeling energetic, climb Bluff Hill for panoramic views of the city and the surrounding countryside. Oh, and before I forget, Napier is home to the National Aquarium of New Zealand, where you can get up close and personal with all sorts of marine life. Last but not least, we're off to Nelson, a city that's often called the sunshine capital of New Zealand. And let me tell you, darling, it certainly lives up to its name. Nelson is a haven for artists and creatives, with a laid-back vibe and a stunning natural backdrop. Explore the art galleries and studios that line the streets, or visit the Nelson Market, a vibrant hub of local produce, crafts, and live music. And if you're a nature lover, darling, you're in for a treat. Nelson is the gateway to Abel Tasman National Park, one of New Zealand's most stunning national parks. Hike through lush forests, kayak along golden beaches, or simply relax and soak up the scenery. For a taste of local history, visit Founders Park, a recreation of a 19th century settlement. And if you're feeling adventurous, take a scenic flight over the Abel Tasman National Park for breathtaking views. Oh, and before I forget, Nelson is known for its craft breweries. Be sure to sample some of the local brews, darling. They're some of the best in the country. So there you have it, my loves, a whirlwind tour of the 10 cities you simply cannot miss in gorgeous New Zealand. I told you you'd need those comfy trousers after all that exploring. From the bustling streets of Auckland to the laid-back vibes of Nelson, New Zealand has something for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Start planning your Kiwi adventure today, and don't forget to let me know in the comments which city you're most excited to visit. Until next time, my loves.